First Alert 4 starts now.
First at 6, it is day 2 of the St. Louis Sheriff's battle to keep his job, and it ended in a war of words. I'm Corey Stark.
And I'm Lauren Traeger in for Samantha Jones. First Alert 4 investigative reporter David Amilati was there in court to hear this new testimony today.
Explosive back and forth between Lee Stokes, a major of the St. Louis Sheriff's Office, and Alfred Montgomery's attorney, David Mason. On the witness stand, Stokes says he told Montgomery not to arrest Tammy Ross that day in February. In exchange, shared in court, had Montgomery saying, "I'm tired of her and I'm going to lock her up," which Stokes replied, "You can't do that." Stokes testified the sheriff didn't like his report on the incident. And after cooperating with the AG's office and federal agents, Stokes says he was retaliated against. Some of that involving Mason, who is representing Montgomery in this trial. In cross-examination, Mason and the witness began to argue. "You're part of the issue." "Yes, sir," Stokes said to Mason. He added Mason once told him, quote, "I run the sheriff's office now." Presiding Judge Steve Omer had enough, telling Mason, "If you are trying to defend him," referencing Montgomery, "then do it. You're not here to defend yourself." This follows months of questioning just how involved Mason has been with the operations of the sheriff's office, especially since Montgomery was put under house arrest and later jailed. Also testifying Thursday, Doug Burris, the former commissioner overseeing the CJC. He was out of town in February when Ross was placed in handcuffs. He testified saying that Ross was the perfect person to be the acting commissioner because of her operational knowledge of the facility. He said she did the right thing to turn over the information of the incident over to the St. Louis Police Department to investigate. He says he was actually looking for flights back until he knew Ross was safe. There is a lot to unpack in this trial. Judge Omer says we're going into next week for sure. Find our extensive coverage inside your First Alert 4 News app. In downtown, David Amilati, First Alert 4 Investigates.